Welcome to the sewing room. I don't know if you've ever thought about your sewing or your quilting or your handiwork as an island of sanity or a refuge, but I have, especially this week. And then I got to thinking, it's kind of always been my sanity, or at least a measure of how I'm coping with life in general. So I got to thinking about this because our kitchen is under construction. And when I say under construction, I mean we went down to the studs. Had them take out 3 walls. The walls were in weird places, so I still have walls, but the I'll have to show you in the video where the walls were because you're just not going to believe it. They chopped up a really nice space and made it just ridiculous. So here's the construction site. Um, yeah, this week revealed some interesting things. Um, what you see are the temporary supports for the rafters to my house. Now, when I brought the contractor in and decided I wanted walls coming down and spaces opened up, I was absolutely convinced that they were not load-bearing walls because, well, in the basement, there wasn't anything below them that told me they were load-bearing. Well, I was clearly wrong. So this week we had to pivot a little bit and change at least the timeline on when the kitchen is going to be done. But some good things have happened. Now, if you look at the floor, you can see where the walls used to be. There used to be a closet there, and that was right in the middle of the room. That made no sense. And then there was a wall there where you can see those pipes. So I had this tiny little laundry room, an entryway, a closet, and there's the footprint of the entire kitchen. And you can see washer and I'm sorry, the stove and refrigerator were over there. I had a countertop that came out here, but more importantly, right in the middle of it, that's the door to our living room. This had a walkway through it, which makes no sense to me. So we are going for an open concept kitchen that just got a little more expensive and a little longer. And then this room over here is the family room, den, whatever. We call it the game room because during lockdown we played a lot of cards in there and enjoyed having a table in there so that we could not use the kitchen table for just about everything. But yeah, welcome to my mess. So we've been staying at the campground in our little 21-foot camper, and I've been enjoying that. We do enjoy being at the campground. It's cool, it's spring, and that's okay. We like that too. But I was ready to come home, and it was the weekend, and the construction people weren't going to be here. And after I got the camper unloaded, I realized the first thing I did was come to my sewing room. Now, what I did in the sewing room was not sew. It was clean, it was organized, it was nesting, probably. Yeah, just getting comfortable in my space again, because the rest of the house is a little upside down. When you have to empty your entire kitchen, laundry room, and pantry so that they can take everything out of it and start over, it means you have stuff stashed in very strange places. But I did manage to keep the stuff out of this room, so I would have my little island of sanity here. Then I got to thinking, all right, I've got it clean. I've got to do something. I can't just sit here. So, really rarely do I send quilts off to have them professionally quilted on a long arm, but I did recently send one out and they gave me the offcuts. So you can see I've got the flannel backing and the batting here. And all I'm doing is I'm ripping where the quilting overlapped the edges so that I can use this backing and this batting. And the reason I decided this was a good project is because I've got this quilt behind me. It's a very interesting quilt using a lot of negative space and my funky little log cabin blocks. But I did watch some videos on Quilt as You Go. And the way I've done as You Go in the past, I've done one block at a time and then you use sashing and you hook everything together. But I saw some other artists, and I am going to call them artists because they are very good at what they do and I really enjoy watching them. But I decided, you know what? I've got these offcuts and I'm trying to use everything in my sewing room without buying new things. So I decided, let's just rip some stitches and see if I can do a quilt as you go project. I also was thoughtful enough. I know me, I don't sit well at the campground and do nothing. I have to take what I call affectionately the Sherry's Busy Box. Sherry's Busy Box is usually hand quilting for pot holders or little projects, or it's this last week I actually took my little Janome sewing machine and I made crumb blocks basically with a technique that I've kind of really started enjoying, to be honest. And I'll do a video at the campground so you can see what I'm doing there. But today I'm ripping stitches and planning for my quilt as you go. Um, I'm going to do it differently. As you can see, I'm cutting 10-inch pieces of batting because my um, rows are 10.5 inches, and that way the batting won't be quite as heavy in the seams. The challenge is the length, and that's what made me get this out. I'm going to have to do a little Franken blocking down there and hook my batting together, but that doesn't bother me. And then I'm going to quilt a row. Actually, I'm going to quilt all the rows, and then I'm going to put them together with the backing, and I'll show you how I do that too. It'll be an experiment because, frankly, I've never done it. I'm a little hesitant to do it on camera because, well, because it's new. I haven't ever done it before. But I'm willing to be honest and share my experiences with you. Is your sewing room or your sewing space your refuge, your island of sanity? What is your island of sanity? What do you go to when you're feeling completely stressed out? I actually keep a daily calendar because I learned a long time ago that I don't keep my habits in positive ways very well unless I can chronicle them or monitor myself to keep myself honest. And it's not that, I'm doing anything nefarious. I'm really not. But simple things like, when was the last time I took a walk? When was the last time I went to the gym? When was the last time I quilted? And I was actually came across one of my old calendars and realized I had a cue on the calendar sporadically. And I was like, what in the heck was I doing? And then I realized it was exactly what I'm talking to you about today. I was keeping track on my calendar of when I got to my quilt room, sewing room, quilting room. I don't know what to call it. I don't always quilt, but I always sew in here. So Anyway, it just had a Q on it. And that's what made me actually think about making this video, because my sewing room is my refuge. Making these quilts and getting out of my head and doing something for somebody else. Because right now, all of my quilts are charity quilts or gifts for other people. I'm not doing like I did years ago. I'm not in that artsy-fartsy stage where, I'm just doing them for the color and the blocks and whatever. I'm actually doing it to help someone else. And that's the other thing about doing my own quilting. If I plan the quilt top and I choose the fabrics and I put the energy in to sew it together, it's like just that finishing touch of putting my care, my kindness into a gift for someone. I don't know. I do enjoy it though. And I'll keep doing it as long as I have fabric in the stash. And boy, do I have fabric in the stash. Anyway, we'll bring you back when I'm doing the quilt as you go. Put your comments in on what is your refuge? What is your island of sanity? I'd like to hear that.